Saturday, November 21st, 2020. It's a Saturday. It's time to play with stuff. So, I have a set of old Apple headphones, you know, what they used to include before they stopped including them. The headphone jack broke, and obviously I can't use it anymore. So, normally it comes with a quad TRS, not TRS, whatever you call this type of thing, because it has a microphone and a button system as part of the headphones. So I'm kind of curious, can we take this headphone and this really, really garbage set of Bluetooth headphones and, you know, make something that's a little bit more useful, you know? I prefer this style headphone over these just disgusting abominations. They're too tight. They were under $20, so you know you get what you pay for. So we're just gonna tear it apart and you know, make this iFeta into a better product. All right, first things first, we got to break into this Chinesium piece of garbage. This is interesting. It's got a lady who speaks when you turn the thing on. There you go. That's what she says. Ooh, it looks like there's a wire in here. Is this supposed to go somewhere? Where does that go? Oh no, it's connected to my audio. All right, I just did a quick test. It appears that the audio, well, the recorded audio would come out here. So we're just taking a look-ski here, and there's a little tiny microphone. There's a headphone jack. Let me zoom in for it. Yeah. So little tiny microphone. There's a headphone jack. So these will passively pass audio as well. Interestingly, there's a bunch of different circuits that are not populated. You know, it could be like a amplifier circuit. I'm curious what this random wire is. Over here, you've got the Bluetooth antenna, and then I can't really quite make out what this says. AP AC 198P IP9092504. Interesting. I don't know what that is. Well, can we remove this circuit board? Oh, and there's a micro SD card slot as well. Apparently it plays MP3s. So this may be just glued onto here, which means that it'll break when the speaker breaks. Ooh, crusty. It says FM. Oh, it's an FM radio? I didn't realize this thing could do... Man, the things that it does just continue to amaze. So let's go ahead and take this apart. The other side. Over here. Oh, we've got a minuscule battery. Very tiny. Only 250 milliamp. I believe we could do better. And then the wire that goes up and through the thing here. So we'll remove the battery. Erg. Yes, it is labeled somewhat on the, at least the battery minus and positive are labeled. And these two are the speaker wires for that side of the speaker. So let's continue taking apart. And so let's just get in here. Got a little bit of solder to apply because it's likely lead-free. We'll carefully remove the positive terminal. Come on. And then the negative terminal. So the circuit board is the right-hand side, and then this wire that we will shorten up significantly is the left hand. We need to come up with some kind of little enclosure for it as well. We might be able to just use part of this because it's already got the connectors for the side of the circuit board, and that's okay. We do need to remove this back cover plate without breaking it too badly. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Come on, buddy. Ooh. Huh. So that's what we got to work with. We could potentially just throw one of these back on. Not pretty, not small, but our circuit board isn't exactly the smallest. Maybe we'll start with it in the enclosure and then we'll go from there, because it really doesn't need to be quite that large. Can make like a little half moon type adapter, and maybe I've got a bigger battery for some better longevity. Okay, so that's step one. These are the connections that we've got to work with. We've got a couple of rings and the tip. So what do they do, and how would they interface with our circuit board here? Obviously, we're going to be using the left and the right side speakers, and they're going to be replacing the speakers that were already here. And I am curious if we can't just get a ohm measurement. Now it's impedance, so we'll see. Oh, that's volts. Oops. Down in the lower end, and we're getting... That is not helpful. For 45 ohms, perhaps. Eek. Interesting, I'm not getting that in the 200 range. 32 ohms. Let's test the other speaker as well. Maybe I'm just not getting a good contact on it. Ooh, inconsistent. 32 ohms. 30, 32, 45. Suffice it to say, they're craptacular, seeing as they're plastic and yeah. All right, so from this ring right here, the second one in, we get 41 ohms, and then on the tip we get close to the same, 43 ohms or 41, depending on where I'm touching it. So I have a sneaking suspicion that those three are the speakers. So we're going to say 40, 43 ohm. And specifically, we're going to do 1, 2, 3, 4. And it's from 2 to 3, and from 2 to 4, we're getting 40 to 43 ohms as part of that. And then the other one is just probably the mic or the button or something, and it's not getting a consistent reading. If I do it from there to the tip, I get nothing. Just make sure that that's set in 2K ohm. Yeah, nothing. And when I get it, where was the other one? Could be that it has to be polarized. Yeah, kind of jumps around a little bit. It's about 1K to there and there and there. So from 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, approximately 1K. All right, that's that. Let's look it up on the confuser. All right, here's what we found. We've got 5 wires in here. So start off, this is the stretchy cord piece, so that doesn't conduct any wire. It's just there for rigidity. We've got a green and a green copper, and this represents the left audio. The green copper is the ground, and the solid green is the speaker left side. And then we've got the right side speaker, which is red and red copper. And then we've got this one that's red and green together, and it's actually a multi-core thing. So inside of it is a copper center. It's hard to get it apart here. There we go. And so the copper center is the mic, and the outside enameled wire is the ground. And so what we'll need to do is just burn off a little bit of the enamel to get at the copper for all of these ends. Just got to get it nice and hot. So these are the wires that we've got to work with, and let's figure out where we're going to solder them up. And just to pull back to this, so this is the mic, the base of this, and then we've got the second one in is the ground, and then we've got the two speakers. We've got the left and the right, or rather the right and the left. So tip is left, the second ring in is right, ground and mic. But we won't be plugging this into anything anymore. If it were to be plugged in, it would only be ground, right, left. So for our circuit board, we've got to figure out how we're going to use these now. So we've got our speaker wires on both sides, so obviously we'll plug those in first. Oh, speaker wires. So we'll solder the speaker wires in first, and then separate off the little battery leads. And I'm not sure what we can do with the mic. We could try replacing the microphone element here, considering this would be like in a pocket or something. It's an experiment. We'll give it a try and see if it works. So we can just barely make out R minus over here and R plus here. And so we've got to assume a similar setup for the copper and the blue wire. I just can't quite see the silk screening on the board with this epoxy gloop on it. It's a little bit difficult to make out, so I'm just going to try and scrapulate away a little bit of this stuff. Hopefully we can see. There might be an L there, which is the left speaker. L plus. Okay, so the copper pair is the plus. So this is going to be our setup. We've got our our right speaker and our left speaker. I got our battery, and we got our microphone. So we're just going to connect up the appropriate wires from up above for the left and right audio and the mic. And let's go ahead and do that. It actually peels off quite easily if you give it enough pressure. Well, not easily, but it's kind of like an elasticy epoxy type thing. I don't know if it's a hot snot type stuff. Like, is it hot glue or is it like cured in some way? It's yellowish and it's stringy like a booger. Okay, now we're gonna desolder. Just need a little bit more of the let's see, is this lead free? Oh, I don't think it's even lead free. Just go ahead and desolder what's there. Come on, buddy. You can do it. Just needs a little bit more persuasion. You can do it! There we go. And then we'll just get a little of this excess solder off of these. Those even through hole? Ooh, this is jiggly. I need to fix my jiggly bit. It's way too jiggly. There we go. Probably wasn't getting good thermal contact. They're not quite through hole. They do have a via through the pads, but they are they're not necessarily through hole wires. Yeah, that is lead free. I'm running approximately, I don't know, 400 degrees American. Let's clean those up a little bit. Of course, my solder is leaded. Just get off these short pair right here. That came off, and that came off. All right. And then we'll take off the microphone same way. Goodbye, Mr. Mike. All right, and now let's prep our leads on the Apple bits. I gotta get a lighter here. I had to search around for a wire. It's not like I'm a smoker or anything, or a lighter. Woo! Little too much smoke and fire there. You know what works best? It's a little pair of tweezers. Seems to scrape the schmutz off nicely. And it's actually hard to tell, but there's I just realized when I snipped that off, there's like these fibrous materials that are part of the wire covering, and the copper is just hiding in there. So I'm actually have to clean that up again. All right. Well, heck, I'm having trouble separating them, so maybe you're just supposed to solder them all together. They don't appear to burn, it's just the enamel that burns. So we'll just go with it. We're going to need a little bit of flux on them as well. So I'll just be generous with the amount of fluxation that I apply. Just kind of juggle them up. Oh yeah, nice and goopy. Just get that all up in there, those wires. Now I'll just snip exactly the amount of wire that I actually need to solder it. Riveting, I can tell. You're just enthused by all of this stripping action. That's not a euphemism, that's just reality. Straighten them out too. All right, now let's get down to the soldering. Green is positive, so I'm going to do the green wire first. See if we can get that slipped in there. I think that's good. Do the same thing with the ground. Doesn't quite want to go. Come on, buddy. Let's work together. Oh, it wants to be difficult. A little bit more of the flux. Now let's see if it will flow a little bit easier for us. It certainly doesn't want to behave. Ooh, that nice smell, like pine trees. Come on, I just need you to solder. You don't want to solder for me. You just want to bounce around. This is only slightly frustrating. There. You didn't want to go on the ends of it. That's fine. We'll just get you where you're at. Not completely happy with that, but I'm okay with it. Okay, let's do the rest of them too. All right, red is right. Red copper is right ground. I've got the glooples on them. All right, they're happily gloopled. We just got to rotate this around and get the same wires connected. You know, I failed to consider the fact that I should have tied a knot in it and figured out like passing it through the circuit board. We'll just have to figure that out after the fact. Some kind of strain relief adaptation. All right, so that's that one, and then we'll get the same thing going for the ground side of it. Guess that's soldered. Can taste it. Ew. I'll just snip that and snip that. Maybe. These side cutters appear to be a little worse for the wear, it looks like. I'm gonna have to get my other pair. I guess I've abused my nice pair. These cheap ones will probably work just fine because I haven't abused them yet. They're just still brand new. Okay, yep. All right, so that's acceptable for the moment. And then we're gonna do the microphone, I guess. And so if you recall, the black was on the right-hand side and the red was on the other side. So I guess the ground, which is the colored piece, is going to be on the right-hand side, and the copper is going to be on the right-hand side. So like that. I think. I hope that does work out well enough. And of course, there's not really much room to work in here. So we're just going to hope for the best in getting something to stick. We'll find out in a minute. May not even work with those extra apple chips going on inside there. We'll see. We'll see. It also may not respond to our chip stuff anymore. You know, the little buttons. I don't think they're going to function because they're not going to be... It's all Bluetooth now. All right, well, the only thing we got to connect up is the batteria. That's it. We've got it soldered up. I don't know if the microphone will work. We'll find out. The only thing we've got left is to solder up the batteria, and we'll go from there, right? Oh, that's so horribly soldered. All right, let's get the battery terminals reconnected. And in the spirit of recycling, you know, a little piece of wire, red, green, red, black. We'll just call it red, black. Solder that up. Oh, that's backwards. Battery minus. Battery plus. I guess we'll do the positive side first. Does that matter on lithium-ion battery cells? And then everyone's favorite, the ground wire. Do we want to circularize these? Let's give them a little spinny spin. There we go. We'll solder it up. Ooh, that's taut. There is our now soldered back together device. And if all goes well, this should be the headphone button, or the power on button. So we'll hear. Hey, it works! and it's connected to this phone. So I guess I'll try listening to something. Yeah, audio on this works great. I can hear, and it's on a pair of headphones that are reasonably comfortable, considering. Let's add a little bit of hot glue. There's a strain relief. And I guess now it's time to put it into the enclosure. I guess we got to put the plastic niblets back in first. And we'll snap that in. That should line up. There we go. Guess I'll adhere this with just a smidgen of hot glue. And then put the battery in down there. Just hit that with a little bit of hot glue on the side, I guess. And now I just cut a little tiny notch right there, and so that all is gonna line up nicey nice, hopefully, with where everything should go. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we have a wireless Bluetooth adapter that works just like normal, except it talks to my broken, now working headphones. Let's turn it on. Hey, yeah! All right. It's even got a little blue light. Awesome. So now I can go, shove this in my pocket and listen to this while cooking, and not have to worry about being connected to the device. This is great. I made a thing. Yay. Do whatever it is you normally do with your time when you're not watching my videos. I mean, sometimes you're cooking and sometimes you're just hanging out. And whatever it is you're doing. So, subscribe. Ah.